Today for our Math Strategies video, we're going to be talking about understanding equivalent fractions. When we hear the word equivalent, let's think about the word equal. So we're going to be finding fractions that equal each other. We're going to be using visual models. We're going to be using multiplication and division to help us find these equivalent fractions. We're also going to be dividing these wholes in different ways, yet still working with the same amount. Okay? So let's go ahead and look at an example that we all know pretty well. This is a nickel, and these are 5 pennies. We know a nickel is worth 5 cents, and 5 pennies is also worth 5 cents. These amounts are equal, but they look a little bit different. Okay, and so we're going to be talking about some fractions that are equal, but may not look the exact same. So let's go ahead and get started with some fraction bars here. Okay, you can see this red bar represents one whole. Okay, and this pink one represents 1/2. It's 1/2 of a whole. Okay, so let's take a look at these two yellow ones. Okay, and if you can't tell, these two yellow ones are 2/4, because 1/4 and 1/4 together is going to give me 2/4. So I can see here that 1/4 and 2/4 are equal to each other. Okay, let's take a look at another example here. I can have 4/8. Okay, and I know that 4/8 is equal to 2/4. And I know that 2/4 is also equal to 1/2. So this is one way that you can determine equivalent fractions is by using a bar model here, just to show you. These are of equal amounts. Okay. Another way you can see is you can look at a bar model and you can divide it into different ways. So here I see 1, 2, 3. See a model that represents 1/3. 1 here because 1 is shaded, and 3 because there are 3 parts. Okay? Well, I could divide each part into 2, or I could have twice as many parts. Okay? The shaded amount did not change. However, now I have a total of 6 parts and 2 shaded. So this tells me that 1/3 is equal to 2/6. Okay? I could also draw a line here, and that means I have 4 times as many spaces as I had originally. Okay? But again, I didn't shade anymore. So I know that 1/3 is equal to 2/6 is also equal to 4/12. Okay? The numbers are looking different, but the amount is not necessarily changed. I didn't shade anymore. I just created more equal parts. Okay? So now we're going to take a look at using multiplication and division to help us find equivalent fractions. So in this case right here, I have 1/3. Well, we know that 1/3 is also equal to 2/6 based on our model that we did previously. Okay? Well, we can also use multiplication to help us show that. Okay? One thing I could do is I can multiply the numerator by 2, and I can also multiply the denominator by 2. Okay? Giving us 2/6. Okay? Now I know a lot of times when we multiply, we think the number is going to get bigger, or it's going to change because it is multiplying. But in this case, it's not necessarily changing the amount, it's just changing the numbers. And the reason this works is because 2/2 we know is equivalent to 1. 2 over 2 equals 1. And we know when we multiply anything by 1, we're going to get itself. That's the identity property there. So, but we just made an equivalent fraction using multiplication. Okay, the secret is you can multiply it by anything you want. You could multiply it by 2, 3, 4, but you have to multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number. Okay, and the same thing applies when we divide. So let's go to 2, 6, and this time we're going to be dividing. And again, we're going to be dividing the numerator and the denominator by the same number. Okay. Now, it can get a little more tricky when we divide. We need to make sure when we're dividing, we're still able to get a whole number. So I know I can divide 2 and 2 together, and I know I can divide 6. 6 divided by 2 will give me that whole number and not decimals or anything like that. So 2 divided by 2 is going to give me 1, and 6 divided by 2 is going to give me 3. And we're back at 1/3 because I know that 2/6 is equal to 1/3. And the reason that this works is because, again, when you have the same numerator and the denominator, it actually equals 1. So it's the same as dividing this fraction by 1. Okay? So as you begin working with equivalent fractions, use models, use multiplication and division to help you.